I have done a lot of shopping recently for books, and I've had great luck. I went to a local bookstore that I hadn't been to in years, and they have really improved and really increased their science fiction section. I found all four of the Star Trek readers by James Blish in one spot. And these are all the book club editions. Unfortunately, the bookstore did place a barcode in the book that I cannot get out. It would just tear up the page. So that's in there forever. I have 1 through 4, and the first one was published in 1976. And I'll be darned if I can remember the name of the publisher. E.P. Dutton and Company. These books are in great shape, and I got them for a very good price. The first one was published in 76. Here's number 2, published in 1977. Number 3, published in 1977 as well. And on the back of each book, there are the individual first 3 season episodes that that Blish has adapted. Here is number 4. And you guys have probably heard me complain about Blish's adaptations. I will read them again. It has been 40 years since I read them. Maybe I'll have a little better thoughts on the stories after reading them again. And I ordered this from Amazon. There is a great introduction in here. And this by Lovecraft. I read just a few Lovecraft short stories back in the late 60s and early 70s. And I realized The Color Out of Space and the Dunwich Horror are science fiction. This book has a great introduction. I have not read it yet. It's over 1,000 pages. I just got it a few days ago. And in the introduction, there's a quote from Fritz Leiber, which I will read very briefly here. The author of the introduction is someone I'm not familiar with. And let's see if I can give you his name. Well, I'll look that up. It's at the end. But at any rate, he says, unlike in the works of some 19th century Gothic writers, however, Lovecraft's terrors are not the terrors of the devil. They are not rooted in a supernatural struggle between the forces of good and evil. They arise from the vastness of the cosmos that 19th century science opened up to humanity. Well, he also gives us a quote from Fritz Leiber that Lovecraft shifted the focus of supernatural dread from man and his little world and his gods to the stars and the black and unplumbed gulfs of intergalactic space. I didn't realize that Lovecraft apparently wrote almost entirely science fiction. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Now I've come up with this one from another local bookstore. This one came from Second and Charles. Now, I don't know what has happened at Second and Charles since the last time I was there, but their selection of science fiction, especially their new science fiction, has greatly increased. And when I mentioned this to the young man at the checkout, he said, "You're about the 100th person that has told me that in the last few weeks." So I picked up Other Dimensions, edited by Robert Silverberg. And this book is in great shape. And I believe Silverberg published this, finished this in 1973. And it was published by Hawthorne Books. So I was very fortunate to get that. And I found this copy at Second and Charles too of Bodyguard and other 4 short novels from Galaxy. And this book is in great shape. And I came up with this one and was really happy to find it. I'll have to grab my original copy down here. Oh, that's the 6th Galaxy reader. Here is Bodyguard. My copy of Bodyguard is actually in great shape, but the jacket had just fallen apart. So now I have 2 in great shape. I will steal the jacket off of this one if my original is in a little better shape and sell one of them, I guess. I'll just trade it in. But actually my little desk here is getting a little overloaded, so I'm going to move these books over here. This came from Amazon, and I ordered it so long ago that I forgot that it was coming, but it came today. The Best of Lee Brackett. And a lot of you folks were talking about her work, and I realized that she had written El Dorado, one of my favorite westerns with John Wayne. This is copyright 1977, and it was published by Ballantine Books, and it is not, it doesn't say that on here. It says Nelson Doubleday. So I'm going to have to look a little closer at this. It must have been originally published by Ballantine. And now it says to be published by Ballantine as a Del Rey book. So apparently Lester got the rights to this and republished the book. And I'm really looking forward to reading her works here. The rest of these all came from Second Time Around. And these are SF Masterworks. And I was able to obtain these for about $6 a piece, brand new books. This is Tau Zero by Paul Anderson. And I looked it up, but I can't recall exactly. It's been published recently. Let's see here. Well, I must have looked it up online because these have been published in the last few years, but this just goes back to when Anderson first published it. I'll just show you guys that. You might not be able to see it on my camera. It says copyright 1967 by Galaxy, copyright 1970 by Paul Anderson, printed and bound by CPI Group UK. The Orion Publishing Group's policy is to use papers that are natural. So, if there's a publishing date in here for this one, I can't find it. At any rate, I'm looking forward to reading that one. I have Aldous Non-Stop, again about $6 at 2nd and Charles, which is a national chain. And we'll see what it says in here. Copyright Brian Aldiss, 1958-2000. Well, that's it. But I haven't read this book in 50 years at least, probably more like 55. So I'm looking forward to reading it again. And they also had Girl of Joy by C.L. Moore, which again I haven't read in at least 50 to 60 years. So I'm looking forward to reading this again and having it in new condition. And they had, 2nd and Charles had a great buy on this copy of Michael Crichton's The Andromeda Strain, which I loaned out years ago and never saw again. So that's all my recent acquisitions, and it's going to take me a while to get through all of this. And one of the things I loved about this book is all of the science in it. And since he was an actual medical doctor, I think his science is pretty correct for the time. I don't know about the espionage or military stuff, but I would think it's, especially back in that day and age with the printers they had, that's probably pretty realistic. So that's all I've got for today, and I'm going to be back here shortly with a review of Moby Dick and Roger Zelazny. Thanks a lot.